Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Baby JTV. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it, man. Love is Blind Season 2. Love is Blind Season 2. Let's get into it, man. This was, I hate to say it, it was a fantastic season. It was a fantastic season. They beat the hell out of Season 1. Okay? And why? Why is that? It's because it was more chaotic. Okay, and they realized it was chaotic. It was messy. It was a roller coaster ride. It was entertaining. It kept my attention for a grand total of about 9 hours. Okay, I binged this ish. Okay, and I don't really binge anything. I'm just being real. I don't watch TV like that, but I'm subscribed to all these, services. But whatever. That's besides the point. Let's get into it, man. I'm gonna go couple by couple. Right, and that's gonna help y'all better understand why I think this season was great. And I'm gonna psychoanalyze almost every single person. Let's get into it. Iyanna and my boy Jared. Let's start off by saying this. I think this couple is gonna last the longest. I don't see them being divorced. I don't see them having issues super long term. I think that they get each other, they compromise, they sacrifice, and I say that mostly because I personally believe Jared is one of the most well-adjusted dudes on the show. And I think Iyanna, even if she is maybe not in the same financial realm as Jared, she is also very well-minded, and she matches the energy that Jared gives her. I think there's going to be a prosperous couple. I think they're going to have hella kids. And the thing that I really like about them is they exposed a very positive image of black folks, in my point of view. Because if you look at the previous season, you had Carlton looking like a damn goofy. And, it was just not a good look. But, Jared just has that personality, that it factor. And the thing is, what I really liked is he really wanted to honor his father, right? And as a firstborn, myself, a firstborn son, a lot hinges on you, and a lot of people don't know that. They don't understand that. But if you're a firstborn black child, black son, you know what that means. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what that means. So to see Jared, not only with his personality and his vibe, he was able to make it work with Iyanna, who came from very bad circumstances, being adopted, going through, rough things as a child, being very hesitant about even sex. You know what I mean? You start to see that, they get each other, and she feels very safe with Jared, and she has fun, and they have fun. I think they're going to last. Now, let's talk about a couple that's married that won't last, which is Danielle and Nick. Okay? I hate how this show tried to make Shake look like the super villain, the worst person ever. No. People need to pay attention that Danielle and I believe Shania or Shayna are two of the worst characters in the show. Okay? Two of the worst characters in the show. Why do I say that? Because Danielle is always playing the victim. Danielle always wants to start drama. Danielle is so insecure that she will sabotage her marriage with Nick, who I also think is pretty well adjusted. Does Nick have his issues? Absolutely. Can I see him exploding? Absolutely. But when you have somebody who's almost how can I say this word? Provokes. Somebody who's a provoker. Somebody who looks for issues when there's no issues. I knew that this was a problem within the first few episodes, where everybody in the couple and them had just went out, and Danielle was puking or something. Maybe she drank too much, but she went off on Nick for him going and having a good time with his fellow people in the experiment. Right? So I'm telling y'all right now, Danielle is extremely toxic, and I think that people need to realize she's the reason they're getting divorced. Okay? And Nick needs to run for the hills if she keeps on bringing that BS when they're more long term, meaning when they're past the quote unquote honeymoon phase. Because, bruh, they've known each other and married each other in less than a year. Okay? Ridiculous. And that'll go to my big point at the end of this video. Let's talk about Shane and Natalie then. Okay? Shane and Natalie. Now for me, I'm just gonna say this right now. I think Shane is probably undiagnosed ADHD. You know what I'm saying? And probably maybe some form of autism. Okay. I think that he was maybe not on his medication, right? And I think he's generally probably a kind-hearted guy. But the thing is, he seems to have deep pain and deep issues, right? Unresolved issues, specifically with the death of his father. And he kept on mentioning that. And I could peep that. I was like, you keep on mentioning your father a lot, right? You say a month before you started this quote-unquote experiment, your pops had died. There's some healing that needs to be done on his end, right? Natalie, I found, was well adjusted as well. She was actually very genuine, very real. I think that she would have been better with a person like Sal, because that's more of her energy. I feel like Shane was maybe too much for her, you know, because Shane almost seems childlike, you know what I'm saying? And I could see Natalie would be, you know, Natalie would have to almost babysit him, you know, and treat him like a child, right? And, you know, Shane is a grown man, you know what I mean? Even though you might act like a little boy, you're still a grown man. And to have somebody who babies you and treats you like a kid, that's insulting to a certain degree. So I'm very happy they broke up. I'm happy that they got over it maturely as adults, which is what we're supposed to do, really. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who didn't do it as adults is literally Shake and Deepti. Shake and Deepti. Now, I know what y'all gonna say. Shake is crazy. He's the worst. He's evil. He's a villain. And you guys would be correct, but I'm gonna go at this from another angle. Deepti saw how Shake was treating her, right? Why did she wait until the altar? Why didn't she break it off earlier, right? And that leads me to think that the producer of this show really pushed these people to make dramatic finishes, okay? Now, was Shake in this because he really thought Love is Blind at a subconscious level? No, he does not think Love is Blind. He does not. And that leads to something that we're going to talk about at the end of this video about the whole concept of this show. But I'll say this. Shake was more authentic and real than somebody like Shayna. Shake was more authentic and real than somebody like Danielle. Shake was more authentic and real than a lot of other characters in this show, right? That makes you really think. Actually, he was more genuine and authentic than Mallory, really. I'm just being real with you. He said, I'm going to come here and I'm going to be an a-hole from the first episode. I'm going to stay consistently like this. And at the reunion, I'm going to double down. I'm going to review. Also, by the way, shameless plug, I'm going to review the reunion on my Patreon. Y'all better check that out. So in my eyes, I wish that Deepti could have ended this earlier. It seems like Shake knows who he is. He knows he's an a-hole. He knows that he likes blondes. You know what I'm saying? He likes grabbing on booty. He's a house DJ and a veterinarian. Good for him. But he's also a house DJ, bro. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? He's 32. He's a house DJ. What do you expect this guy to have real big depth, thinking about deep emotional connection? I don't know why he decided to do this. But Deepti, I think she's a sweet girl. I think that she's a nice girl. I think that she is very sexy. She's hot. You know what I mean? I just think that she just did not match well with this guy, right? And the thing about, Shake is that he is very superficial, very shallow. That's okay, but at least he stayed that way consistently. And I wish that he also could have ended things with Deepti earlier as well, to give her the chance to maybe get with somebody like Kyle. Then talking about Kyle, let's talk about Kyle and this bitch Shayna. I'm not even gonna front, man. She's a bitch. Let's just start off with that. She's a, I don't like cussing like that, but that's a bitch. Let me say this. The dictionary definition of waste my time 2022, right? Ultimately, right? I think that Deepti also wasted her time with Shake, but nothing was more egregious than what we saw with Kyle and Shayna. Now, why do I say this? This reminds me of Mark and Jessica last season, right? Where clearly the attraction is not there. And this, even though, you know, this show claims to be called Love is Blind, no, she was not attracted to him physically. Okay? Let's stop the capping. Let's stop the pretending. Let's not say, oh, because he wasn't Christian. No, she was not attracted to him physically. Why do I say that? If you're attracted to somebody physically, you can't get your hands off them, you can't get your lips off them, you can't wait to have sex with them, or you can't stop having sex with them. The fact that she told Kyle on the first night in Mexico that she did not want to sleep in the bed with him, that's grounds to end things. I'm sorry. If you're planning to marry somebody and they don't want to sleep in the same bed as you, in the honeymoon phase, in the phase where y'all should be clapping cheeks and you know what I'm saying? Y'all should be getting it in hard. She doesn't even want to sleep in your bed. She's not attracted to you, brother. She's not physically attracted to you. And if she's not physically attracted to you, what? Why y'all really getting married? If you want to be friends, we can be friends, cool. But I am not gonna be sleeping in a separate room than my fiance or my wife. And Kyle, I gotta give him some heat too, because, bro, can't you notice that sign? The thing is, he was in love. He was infatuated. And ironically, he was infatuated because of how she looked. She was not attracted to him because of how he looked. So they were going the opposite directions fast, right? But Shayna is actually evil, because what she did was she tried to get in the way of Natalie and Shane. She tried to almost break them apart. That was her goal. That was her plot. Okay. That's what makes her worse in my eyes. Okay. She might be worse than Shake in my eyes, because she was actively going out of her way to ruin things. Now Shake, he'll just ruin everything himself. He'll just be self-destructive. That's what some dudes are. Some women are like that. But Shayna, she lied about why she didn't want to deal with Kyle. And not only that, she made it out her way to ruin things with another relationship. Don't you think if Shane even had a little bit interest, Shayna would have fucked him? They would have had sex. They would have had sex. I'm just being real. They would have had sex. Okay, let's be adults here. They would have had sex if Shane had even one moment of weakness. Salute to him that he didn't. Right? Talking about weakness, somebody who's not weak is Sal. Shouts out to Sal. You know what I mean? Sal was supposed to marry Mallory, and this is just an overall comment for the show. A lot of the males on this show were weak. Okay, and I'm not saying weak in terms of strength. I'm saying weak in terms of having the balls to stand up for what you actually are and what you believe in. And that's why when you saw Shake at the reunion, that's when he was having balls. That's when he was being him. That's when he was being authentic to the highest degree. The women on this show, most of them had some nuts on them. They had balls. Okay, as much as I'm hating on Shayna, she had some nuts to say, hey, Kyle, I'm done. Okay, as much as I'm not so sympathetic to Deepti, she at least had some nuts on the wedding night and said she was done. Okay, as much as I had some, a lot of criticism for Shane, Natalie actually had the balls to end things. She had the balls. But you know who else had huge balls? That was Sal. Okay, even though he was a lover boy, he knew and he saw that him and Mallory were not gonna work. He saw the signs that Mallory was still into Jarrett, right? She was still into him. Let's not cap. And he saw that his efforts were not being appreciated to the level that he wanted to, and decided, hey, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to stand 10 toes. I'm going to be honest, not only with myself, but with Mallory too, and end this. And that takes, guess what? It takes some nuts. It takes some nut sacks, real talk. And he was one of the few men in this show who said, hey, I'm going to have some balls. I'm not going to be going along to get along, because at the end of the day, ultimately, this show, Love is Blind, this experiment is BS. Let's get to the point. Let's just talk about it. This experiment, this show is pure BS. What do I mean by that? I mean that say that Love is actually not blind. This showed how shallow love is. More specifically, when these people finally left the pods, they became shallow as hell. Let's go through the list, okay? Right? Natalie and Shane, right? Shallow. It was not that deep, right? Deep T and Shake, very the most obvious shallow one, right? Kyle and Shayna, shallow as hell. Why aren't they walking down the altar? It's because they left the pods and got to actually see each other, be around each other, and then realized extremely quickly their level of attraction was not that high. Even Mallory and Sal, and they all proved that love indeed is not blind. Lust might be blind, yes, absolutely. Lust might be blind, absolutely, but love is not blind. And if you look at season 1, season 2, most of the couples don't make it. Most of the couples don't get married because love is not blind. And that is what I learned from the show. It's entertaining. I've been ranting for about 16 minutes. I don't know why I'm doing this, but hey, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. There's a long video, Big Baby J. Long video, but make sure that you guys check out my reunion recap episode, recap and analysis on Patreon, link in bio. Gonna have that up tonight. Big Baby J TV. Like, comment, sub. I'm out, bruh.